Everything sucks. What were we talking about before we started doing Reflux? It was like Fan Four Stick and all that shit.
Oh yeah,
It
no, we were
sucks.
talking about how like they're trying to do the Fantastic Four movie in like what 2025,
Yeah. And how
and
they're
then
definitely not anymore.
with the writer's strike and how like they started filming Deadpool 3, but because of the writer's strike, um, Ryan Reynolds can't ad lib or improvise as Deadpool, otherwise that counts as writing. So
So are they just using the script as written with zero modifications?
that's what they have to do.
Funny
Woof.
thing is, with actors that tend to improv some of their scenes, a lot of the time what the script will say is, for example, Ryan improvs something here.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean, I mean, this is Deadpool we're talking about. I could imagine him having all kinds of fun with that.
I mean, that's the thing, though. He's not even if it says it in the script, he's not allowed to do that. So he would just have to do like Ryan improv something here and just say it, and
I
that's the
I
line.
Say
I
the
would
word.
love it. I would love it if, like, in editing at the end, they like put like little subtitles in that say we couldn't change this part because of the strike or something.
It's just a
That
long beep that says the words writer's strike.
I that seems like something that they would do with this sort of fourth wall breaking movie.
At least once. I mean, they have to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and all kind of shit is getting canned. Like,
Yeah.
I saw the news article today. Thunderbolts is done indefinitely.
What's done enough? And I didn't hear that. What?
Thunderbolts.
I don't actually know what that is.
That was the another hero team thing that was going to be happening, but it's now not happening.
Yeah, it was the thing. That was the thing with U.S. Agent from Winter Soldier, and
Yeah, and Winter Soldier was there too.
oh yeah, he was in that too. Yeah, yeah, that's gone. Yeah,
All the side characters that you care about so much that you're asking always, where are they? Nobody's asking.
I mean, people probably ask where Winter Soldier is because he's the only one that people
Yeah,
care about on that list. I don't. That's just me personally, though. I never really gave a shit about Winter
people
Soldier.
there are some people who are hardcore fans of Bucky Barnes.
Mm.
I have I have anti-interest in U.S. Soldier, the guy who dressed up as Captain America and murdered somebody with his shield.
U.S. Agent, but yes.
U.S. Agent, yes.
Yeah. That whole thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was weird. Because I feel like that show was literally pandering just to me because I'm probably one of the very, very few people who wanted Falcon to be the new Captain America.
I really like Falcon as the new Captain America. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird that it's been so long without any reference to that character being the new Captain America
Yeah,
in
but
anything.
it just feels like Disney suddenly decided, hey, we're gonna give Hawkeye his own film. It's why are you doing this just to please me? I don't understand. Most people don't want this.
I love the Hawkeye show. I love it so much. Just him trying to get home for Christmas.
So yeah, all the Marvel engine is kind of grinding to a halt. Probably for the better at this point, frankly.
Yeah.
People were talking about superhero fatigue 5 years ago.
It's not superhero fatigue. It's just the films are shit and they finished the story.
Yeah, but you have the already fatigue, and then you have the decreasing quality. It is just dying. I got into a whole huge conversation about like comics and the issue with comics and like just constantly like resetting characters, handing it off to different writers. And it's like now you're seeing the same problems appearing in the cinematic universe equivalent of, well, we need to have a new this character, a new that character, and changing writers over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about superhero fatigue since 2011, since the first Avengers came out. Like, that if the films are good, it doesn't matter. Like, that's bottom line of it. And yeah, you're absolutely right on the writers and producers side of things. Like, James Gunn actually went on the record about that kind of thing with Endgame and Guardians 3. Like, they killed off Gamora, and he didn't want that, but he just had to fucking deal with it. They decided Thor was going to be with the Guardians. He didn't want that. Luckily for him, someone else fucking dealt with it.
And it's it's frustrating because in the freaking new Thor movie, that villain is a villain that actually would have been better if Star-Lord was there. That would have made more sense to be a villain for Star-Lord to actually like interact with versus Thor, who has zero connection or zero like thematic connection at all to Gore the God Killer.
I mean,
because
Thor doesn't really have any connection to anyone anymore because, again, to repeat what I said earlier, the story is done in the worst way possible, frankly, in my personal opinion, but the story is done. He doesn't really have anywhere to go anymore.
It's depressing. Because all that stuff happens with like, oh hey, Thor Ragnarok, we got like a happy ending and everything. Woo! Like, Asgard may be gone, but the people are still here, and then boom! Infinity War. Just gonna go
sacrificed on the altar of getting Thanos over.
Yeah, and then as a result, you have to like, Loki's gone, Heimdall's gone, half the population is gone. What do you really have left? The part of the core of Thor is that connection to Loki, and the dynamic that those two have. But no, don't worry. Loki gets his own show where he goes into the multiverse and falls in love with himself.
I've heard of narcissism, but that's ridiculous.
Sorry?
He said, I've heard of narcissism, but that's ridiculous.
It's not narcissism.
It is.
It's not narcissism. It's not narcissism. Don't
It's
make me.
not narcissism,
Don't
but
make
they
me
keep
do
trying
the rant on what narcissism is. Fuck.
We had a whole discussion about this. They keep trying to say it's narcissism, but it's not if narcissism if you acknowledge that you're... Yeah.
Narcissistic people do not accept that they are narcissists because, by definition, narcissists think every problem that they have is someone else's fault.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, like, it's...
This wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you, kind of thing.
When I was in high school, and I was watching Bleach with all my high school buddies. And we'd always talk about, hey, what's happening in the show, and we reached I think everybody reached this conclusion. We were all like, man, Aizen and that whole arc, like when he was dealt with, that's when the show should have ended.
Yep.
But it kept going, and it's a similar thing where you had Endgame, and it kept going.
It's literally called Endgame.
And it keeps going, and then you end up just having a bunch of like threads and like new things over here and over there and over here, but it doesn't have any sense of cohesion anymore because you reached as cohesive as you could possibly get.
You know what's interesting? When you actually look back on all of the Marvel films post post Endgame, the best ones are the ones that tie up loose ends.
Yes.
Far From Home, the whole legacy thing with Iron Man and everything, Spider-Man taking on the mantle, if we ignore that last fucking scene, that stupid fucking scene. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the fallout of Gamora not being Gamora anymore, and everyone just kind of dealing with that and figuring it out and moving on.
Yeah.
What other good movies were the post Endgame? I need a reminder.
Here's the thing. All right, I think we're far enough away from it that I can talk about this. It is very frustrating to me that in the new Black Panther movie, at the end of it all, after getting over, the loss of T'Challa, it ends with a scene where, the new Black Panther, his sister, I don't remember her name,
Shuri.
She finds out that T'Challa did indeed have a child, and that kid's name is also T'Challa. Because we can just reset it, right?
Okay. That's a choice.
All right.
Like, we may have a female Black Panther right now, but don't worry. We can just reset it.
There'll be a Snowball 2 coming along just any second.
Yeah, you miss. We have our new Captain America. Wait, it has a passing of mantle that was very good. But what about if we just did Ironheart and had a new Iron Man, and then we passed the mantle of Hawkeye to the new Hawkeye, and then we passed the mantle of Black Widow to the new Black Widow, and we passed the
Most of these characters don't have anything to do with the characters they're taking the mantle from. They don't have anything to do with any story that has been ongoing or any story thread that has happened recently. They are just new characters. They are S Club Juniors of the fucking thing. It's just manufactured storylines that don't have any connection in this massively interconnected setting of all these different characters doing all of these different things, putting plots together to make a setting that has some depth to it, so you can build stories in it. It's just people just randomly coming out of the woodwork, out of nowhere, to just be the next this or this.
The thing that I think the passing of the mantle, I think for me that's the most egregious, is how you introduce Ironheart in the new Black Panther movie, and it's like, yeah, no, she just made an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, she's just here now.
She's just made an Iron Man suit, and she's Ironheart, and that's the only explanation you really are given.
Did they even do a backstory?
Gwyneth Paltrow made an Iron Man suit? I need more explanation than that.
She's a scientist.
I mean, I've forgotten Riri Williams, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah. Her backstory, it is her, I think it was her adoptive family and her friend, I think, get caught in a drive-by shooting or something in a park. And she's like, yo, that Iron Man shit is cool. I want to protect people so that I can make sure this doesn't happen to other people. That's a solid backstory. Did that get mentioned in the Black Panther movie?
That's the first I've heard of the backstory.
Ooh, that's not great.
Yeah. It is the most just like, we shoved this character in, and they already have a suit. They're not going to explain why, really, but they have a suit. They're a superhero.
It's certainly a choice.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating.
Oh, also, for the Ironheart thing, Tony was still alive when that whole thing went down, when she built her first suit and went out with it, and Tony was like, yo, did someone steal one of my suits? No, that's kind of too shitty to be one of mine. But holy shit, someone is building Iron Man suits. And that's kind of how the mantle ends up passing to her, because he's like, yo, this girl knows what's up. She's doing some incredible shit, but she probably needs some guidance so she doesn't make all the really, really fucking stupid mistakes that I did.
Have you guys seen what the suit looks like in Black Panther?
No, I never wound up seeing that one.
Hit me.
All right.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
Go, go, Power Rangers. Do,
That-
do, 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 do.
Yeah, you nailed that one immediately. That's a Power Ranger. What the fuck?
No, that's a ladybug.
Oh, yeah, okay. I can see that too. Mm.
This is the Ironheart suit.
I don't like it. That's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not good. It's bad.
It's pretty bad. It's also surprisingly high tech and just she just has this.
What the fuck is with the shoulder?
Is the propulsion device.
Okay.
It's like a big fan or something. I don't know.
To keep your hands free while you fly, I think.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
don't have anything that I can add to this.
It is.
Well, she is a teenager with attitude, so the Power Ranger thing actually does kind of.
It's Yeah, no, but like the all the freaking like I honestly I think Ironheart is the worst part of that movie, because not only does like she has almost zero reason to be there, and B, her presence actually I think takes away from the main conflict and the main characters. Like the folk, like there's a good conflict, there's a good emphasis on character, but like you just kind of throw in this and like, oh yeah, here's Ironheart.
Also, this character exists.
Yeah, it feels like clunky, clumsily written, which doesn't drum up interest for the Ironheart show that they want to do.
Want to do naturally now, because that's not happening.
Because I imagine they expected to do like, oh well, Spider-Man showed up in Civil War first, right? That's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's Spider-Man. Also, that's Spider-Man put in there in a way that set him up for his entire arc for the rest of the films.
We also already like knew Spider-Man's basic backstory from all the other different attempts at movies and trilogies and such.
Like that was the whole. That was Tony Stark going to Peter Parker and being like, "Hey, you're a hero, and it's cute. I need your help, and I'm going to be a bad influence on you, but also I'm going to make you a better hero." And that's pretty much how that goes for the rest of the films. So are we to take from this that Ironheart is going to be a shill for Wakanda, I guess?
I don't know. I think there's like literally an exchange where it's like you don't need to stay here. This is just like an us thing. It's just like, no, I'm already involved, so I'm staying. It's like, you don't need to be here, though.
Yeah, this is not your problem in so many ways, and we'd also probably prefer you didn't get involved because you are not from Wakanda, and we are famously insular. Also, Patient has posted the original design for Ironheart, which is kind of has a similar Power Ranger feel problem, and also pink because she's a girl, but
of course.
it does look better, broadly speaking.
Which one is just Blue Iron Man? Is that something else?
Is that Blue Beetle?
Maybe I thought it was just Iron Man, but like exactly, but blue. And it was.
I'm gonna do some googling. Blue Iron Man. Who is Blue Iron Man? Is one of the... Okay, so it's War Machine. It's just War Machine.
I know, like, but you look.
Or it is the Mark 30 suit, codenamed Blue Steel. Insert your Zoolander jokes here.
It's But yeah, no, like since the whole because you brought it up, since the whole thing with Endgame, we've had Far From Home with Shang-Chi. I like Shang-Chi. I genuinely thought that was a good one.
Shang-Chi, I understand, is almost entirely self-contained.
It is, yes, it is it is basically entirely self-contained. Works great. Has a lot of good martial arts and, you know, actual like choreography for fights, and that's one of the big appeals of that, you know.
It was good. I did enjoy it.
And then you had the Black Widow movie, which happened.
Was that okay? I never saw that one.
Every character in that movie is more interesting than Black Widow. Yeah.
Which is convenient because she's the one that died. But, yeah.
And then, you know, you had Eternals right after Shang-Chi. There was Thor, which I talked about. Black Panther, which is a good movie, but has Ironheart in it for some reason.
And the ending is stupid, but that's a me thing.
Black Widow, you said?
What was that? Yeah, Black Widow. There was Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
By which you mean Scarlet Witch and being a kind of shitty person.
Yeah.
But it's okay because she's a principal character.
She, like, gets squashed in the end of that movie.
She gets what?
Squashed.
Cool.
She gets crushed by, like, a mountain. And, like, is she dead? It's like, maybe she's still alive out there.
Hope not.
Probably not, though. She hasn't shown up anywhere.
She brainwashed an entire town for months.
Yeah, no. The one thing I did like about that movie was that frickin', you know, she was very terrifying as a villain. Because I've seen what she can do.
Yeah. She's very powerful.
One
One of the more powerful characters in the comics, is from my understanding.
And then there was, you know, Ant-Man. Which is like, hey, have you heard about Kang the Conqueror?
No.
Do you know that he's really scary?
No.
He's super scary.
No.
Yeah, no, he's very scary.
Mm-mm.
You wanna know how scary he is?
You're being told that a lot.
No.
In this tiny, super tiny, extremely tiny universe, he's like conquered it.
What?
Everybody's
That's-
scared of him.
That is actually really funny when you actually think about it, because, like, it is in the quantum realm and all that shit, which means it is so tiny it could probably all be snuffed out by a fart in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But listen, we can't let him get out, because if he gets out, then his army will attack.
Yes, a subatomic army. Very, very frightening me, Galileo.
They'll get big and they'll attack. Listen.
This
Look,
is not how you set up a threatening villain.
King the Conqueror, he's scary, okay? He used the Force and choked somebody.
He conquered an entire proton.
He's terrifying. Nightmare.
The quarks live in fear.
He's exactly the type of villain that we're going to tell you how scary he is. Because we have to tell you, because if we don't tell you, you won't understand.
Have you not heard of Show, Don't Tell?
In fairness, like, the entirety of Thanos' presence in the MCU before Infinity War was him sitting in a chair menacingly.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody didn't come up and say, "Hey, that guy is scary," and point at Thanos. That's the level of what happened with Kang the Conqueror and Quantumania.
Yeah, like, yeah. To be fair, like you said, Thanos' power was felt by everyone else, because every villain leading up to Thanos was working for Thanos, except for Ultron. But you know,
the villain of Guardians 3 is scarier than King the Conqueror,
different way from my understanding, but sure.
because there's like it's better conveyed, you know?
Execution is everything.
Personal stakes are very helpful when getting a villain over.
Exactly. The personal stakes in Quantumania is that Kang the Conqueror knew Janet's mom when she was tiny in the quantum realm.
Okay.
Yeah. You know that character that
Wasn't
you
he
met?
supposed to not exist in the timeline?
No, listen. This is just one of the many different Kangs.
No,
There's
but
tons of
the entire point was there was only one Kang, and he was overseeing the sacred timeline because it was the one that didn't have any other Kangs.
Well, you see, because Loki happened, now there's all the different Kangs.
But the sacred timeline. But how did he know Janet Van? That doesn't make any. Oh.
I'm sorry, Casey, are you really trying to make sense out of storytelling that's less storytelling and more just focused on flashy action scenes put all together without any cohesive writer behind it?
From 2008 to 2018, they did it just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Multiverses and time travel are always a good idea in your story. Go for it. It never goes wrong in very stupid and obvious ways. Ever.
Well, what can we do?
Listen, he's so scary.
Well, the thing is, we don't really need to do anything anymore. Like, think about it. Like, they're not able to make the films or shows anymore, so who cares?
But don't you want to see the Marvels in November?
I'd consider it. Honestly, that one looked cute.
I actually
And I
think the
want to
dynamic.
see Carol Danvers trip over a fucking table and eat shit. So
I'd like to see Miss Marvel do something heroic
yeah, sure.
because I think in her own show she saved like 2 people. So it'd be nice to see her do something heroic.
Hmm.
It was a weird show because it was. I loved getting to see more of that culture. That was great, but there was a lot of exposition and very little heroing.
Heroing's expensive, and the films can't afford it anymore, let alone TV shows. So
Yeah, which is why I would like to see some heroing. And then because writer strike, nothing is certain. So like the Captain America movie next year, the Thunderbolts movie next year, the Blade movie next year, Deadpool 3 next year.
nope,
Fantastic.
nope, nope, nope.
Fantastic Four in 2025. We're back where we started.
There they go. Snuffed out. Gone.
Listen, this all leads up to Avengers: The Kang Dynasty
No, it doesn't.
in 2025. Which is then
Actually-
followed by
Marvel are probably thanking God for the writer's strike in that sense. Like, whew. Remember when we wanted Kang to be the center of the fucking universe? Oh boy. That got really dangerous for a little bit there, but whew. Now
I
we
would
can't
like
do it
it.
anymore. That's a shame.
I would like it if they decided to just abandon the Kang idea entirely
It sucks, so yeah.
and just not do that.
I mean, they have literally nothing to replace it with, but in fairness, they haven't done anything with it anyway, so who cares?
You could just the only thing that's actually built up Kang that most people will see, because I'm willing to bet that most people did not watch the Loki show. The thing that most people will see is Ant-Man. But you know what? You can ignore that one because Ant-Man is small. Just step over it. Let that thread die.
I mean, the one in
Please.
Loki just literally fucking sat there and chewed the scenery for his one scene that lasted for about 40 fucking minutes just talking. So, you know.
No, he had to tell us how scary the other Kangs were.
That really was what that episode was, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was 40 minutes of a villain saying that, oh boy, this other villain, he's really bad dude.
Yep. That was the
40 minutes.
entire episode.
Bad dude. You don't know.
If you kill me, you will unleash a whole bunch of bad dudes that are like me, and you have the same actor as me, but are meaner.
Will he be obnoxiously eating out in every scene? Because if so, then yeah, maybe we should just keep the single timeline.
Welcome to the Fandom Flux podcast.
Could we kill you and keep the single timeline? Because that would also be kind of okay. Don't talk with your mouth full, asshole. That's the evil of Kang, really.
Go watch the new Spider-Man multiverse Miles Morales movie. That's what I want to see, because that's good. That does multiverse good.
Perhaps I'll take your recommendation, Mr. Goldblum.
I legit though, like freaking gosh, that's the only thing that I care about right now for like hero stuff is the new Miles Morales movie.
I don't know. Like, you remember when the Lego Movie 2 came out and it was basically just memes and self-parody?
I never saw it.
That's kind of telling. It feels kind of like Spider-Verse 2 is that a little bit, because in the trailer, you know, the Spider-Man pointing at himself meme?
You mean the thing they referenced at the end of the first one?
Yeah. What if we do that, but it's like hundreds of Spider-Men?
That's funny. That's peak comedy.
I mean, it's comedy. I wouldn't call it.
The sarcasm, I think, is not getting across here.
Like, just don't fucking do multiverses. Don't fucking do it.
You know, it's interesting that we brought up the topic of Spider-Man, because they did do like showed the trailer for the new Spider-Man Insomnia game.
That's some good shit.
Spider-Man 2.
That's some good
If I had a nickel for everything called Spider-Man 2, I'd have a lot of nickels.
Actually, you have 3? I want to say 3.
I'm not talking about just movies. I'm talking about video games as well.
Yeah, that's still 3, because usually they're called like Amazing or Ultimate or whatever as well. The Spider-Man 2, the film, the Spider-Man 2, the game, the film, the game, and then there's this one. That's pretty much it.
So yeah, I'm excited for that, actually. Because they showed the trailer. If you didn't see the trailer, you can. They decided that, hey, you know that Miles Morales game? What if you just switch between Miles Morales and Peter on the fly? And Peter's got like new stuff because he's got the symbiote suit now.
I'd have been a little bit more coy about announcing that. Of like, hey, he's got this cool and sleek black suit from somewhere, and he can do
Everybody
really aggro shit with it.
Everybody knows what the symbiote suit is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. If you aren't old enough to have seen Spider-Man 3 or any of the other various things, it is the most popular storyline in Spider-Man stuff for a reason.
It's so good. They're doing it so well.
I never even saw that film, and I still know what it is.
Gary Lowenthal's going so fucking hard on that shit.
I love it, and I love the implication that we're probably going to get a Miles versus Peter fight.
Oh, yeah.
Where the symbiote suit's making him go full aggro, and you have to then, fight Peter.
I have no idea what you do for, like, could they even do post-game for that storyline? If half
Maybe?
If half of the upgrades for Peter are symbiote powers, we know how the story ends for that.
I don't know. That's super cool, though.
Personally, I'd love to see something revisited from an old Spider-Man game I played when I was younger, wherein the final boss is what happens when Carnage's symbiote merges with Doc Ock.
That could be fun. Because they established Doc Ock in the first one, too.
Oh, God. I'm so looking forward to that. That's going to be a PS5 exclusive. Fuck.
A reason to own my PS5 that I own.
Yeah, I'm sure you're glad to have that now.
The reasons to own it are few and far between, but I appreciate having another one that makes me feel more justified about owning it.
There's like 5 exclusive games on it.
Yep.
I did see an image of that. Well, a meme image. I'm hoping I can find it, but nope. Just a lot of promo.
I have this
But
funny
there's
thing.
like a picture of like it's got 5 games on it, maybe like Ratchet and Clank, the Demon Souls remake, and fuck, was there even anything else? I think it was like a
Okay.
kart racer or something.
I have a small story to share about that because when I always try to sell like to my dad of like why it's a net boon to own the newest PlayStation thing. With like the PS4, it was like it has a Bluetooth. We could have a Bluetooth player. We don't need to own a Bluetooth player. With the PS5, it's
What?
like you can play Bluetooth DVDs. What's the PS4?
Blu-rays, I think you meant.
Blu-ray. Sorry, Blu-ray. I'm sorry. Everything's blue these days. Blu-ray, right? And then for
Blue
like
Steel.
for the PS5, it was like 4K streaming and everything. Dad, we love that 4K stuff now. And I saw like me and my dad were laughing because we saw an old home video where I open up. It's a Christmas day, and I'm like a kid, and I open up my box. And it's a PlayStation 2, and I turn to my dad and I say, "It can play DVDs." I've not changed
Yeah.
in my strategy.
I mean, if it works.
I mean, keep it going if it works. Yeah.
That's the benefit, is it works as an entertainment device that is not just for games.
Technically, I mean, smart TV will do the same thing, and I assume you have one of those.
Yes.
Yeah. So
We have one downstairs, but the one upstairs is not. So that's the one the PlayStation is connected to.
okay.
But yeah. How's everybody's weeks?
Now that we have gone through the 40-minute rant about Marvel shit again, we need new material, but we're not going to get any anytime soon because the writer's strike, so fuck it.
You were giving me crap over the freaking Zelda rants, and now look at what happened.
In my defense, you were the one that brought it up. You brought it up before the podcast, and then I admittedly brought it up to remind you of the thing.
Yeah, you told me save it for the podcast. I was just making casual conversation.
True.
Okay.
I did hop in to hear that part.
So, yeah, the Sony thing happened, and Spider-Man and Final Fantasy 16. That game looks alright, I guess. I don't know. 15 looked alright too, so take that for a bucket of salt.
I have faith because Yoshi P's been working on it, and 14 is a fantastic game.
Yeah, okay. And Dragon's Dogma 2 got something that I don't really remember seeing, but that first one was good. Second one will probably also be good. I have a lot of faith in Itsuno, who is the Devil May Cry guy who also works on Dragon's Dogma. So, yeah. I don't remember anything else from the Sony thing.
I didn't watch most of the Sony thing. TBH.
I didn't watch any of it.
I watched
I saw
Wooly and Pat watch it, basically.
It was like I saw the Spider-Man thing. I was like, "Yay, Spider-Man! Yippee-ki-yay!" There was Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is they're remaking the Metal Gear game. Kojima's not here, by the way. We're remaking it.
Konami, go away. Everyone was actually happier when you stopped making video games.
Oh no, they want to make all the video games now because the pachinko business is not It's not performing the way it was
I didn't
before.
even think about the pachinko business died, didn't it? Like in 2020 because of the COVID.
Yep.
Oh,
This is why they are going full on, like, they made a whole announcement of we want to focus on making games
they
and we want to
must
make games
have
again.
fucking hemorrhaged money. Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh.
That's why they're making games again.
Yep. Oh my god.
That's why they had
every other entertainment company would like raking in money because everyone was playing video games. Everyone was streaming TV and film and all that shit. And here's Konami just sitting there looking at their empty pachinko parlors with their Silent Hill 2 themed pachinko machines with Pyramid Head telling you to hit the lever and just nothing.
Yeah. So here's some Metal Gear. By the way, we're making a sequel to that Bomberman R game that was like the launch title for the Switch. Practically. Yeah, no, more Bomberman. You guys like Bomberman, right?
Here's
yeah,
like
no,
5 Silent Hill things.
here's a bunch of here's a ton of games.
We love the video game industry.
Video games are great, everybody. Pachinko, what's that? Is it a video game? I don't know what that is.
Hey guys, remember Pro Evolution Soccer?
Yeah, so, there's a bunch of stuff. I didn't even know that the Talos Principle 2 was announced. That's pretty cool. That's a good puzzle game.
Don't know anything about that at all.
I played the first one. I never beat it because my brain is too small. And I didn't have time. It was Foam Stars, which is...
oh god, yeah. That.
Being likened to Splatoon.
Oh, likened. That is a very polite way of putting it.
I am putting it politely, yeah. They also announced like some sort of
1-to-1 or
it's Splatoon with foam, so it can technically change the terrain of the map because it builds up in piles because it's foam.
I see.
Other than that, it's just Splatoon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, no, nothing else really. I mean, Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage. I don't even know what that is.
Who cares? The Alan Wake thing is actually kind of interesting because it's all like in with the other Remedy stuff, like Control.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually connected.
That's cool for people into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have their own whole like universe.
Yeah. Like apparently, this is from watching the stream with Wooly and Pat and everything. Is the stuff from the original Alan Wake games was basically retconned as some weird thing that the facility Control is based around. I didn't play the game. It's just one of their things that they deal with.
Yeah. The Control is basically, my understanding is they are basically the Game
SCP.
Studios version of the SCP Foundation. And everything behind the Alan Wake stuff was just like one of those SCPs.
Yeah.
Not only that, but Alan is in fact an SCP now. He's in an alternate dimension making monsters in some form of demented cry for help.
Cool.
I mean, people are really into that shit now, so might do okay for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious if he's going to be sane for very much longer. Like, he's actively going crazy as he's making these monsters. So, like, I guess we'll see.
Might end up with a Ethan situation going on in that one.
Helldivers 2, Fair Game. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink has 2 new playable characters. Yeah. No, it's...
Okay.
Hey, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, PSVR 2.
Yay.
Did you get the PSVR 2? No.
Remember VR games? Remember Five Nights at Freddy's? These two things that you basically forgot about, put together for
I didn't even know.
your entertainment.
I didn't even know that the PSVR 2 was out.
Yeah, it has like 10 games and it's not getting any more. Except for that Five Nights at Freddy's thing.
It's getting Resident Evil 4 VR mode.
Cool.
Yeah, no,
That probably works better for the first person Resident Evil games, but sure, why not?
yeah. No, it was a thing that happened. I didn't watch it because I was doing other things with my life.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about these, like, single company. We're gonna do a big announcement thing. Remember the things we did in E3 for the press conferences? We're gonna do that, but just us on our own, a random day because we feel like it, so we get all of the attention. Funny thing is, when you do that, you lose a lot of attention because everyone who cared about the video game industry, like enthusiasts, everyone cared about E3. If you're not really that into Sony stuff, you do not care about this.
Like, obviously, I'm freaking. I enjoy the Nintendo games a lot, so I'll tune in for that. But I don't really care as much about the Sony stuff. So I'm like, yeah, no, I can just catch that later.
Yeah.
What I would compare it to is, I mean, it's the same thing. If you have a bunch of, say, chefs, a bunch of food trucks or something that all come together so that there are 10 different restaurants to choose from in the same area, obviously that's going to attract a lot bigger of a crowd because there are a lot more options, a little something for everyone.
Yeah. This is the place with the food things. This is the place with the video game things. This is the place with the tacos, or this is the place with the Sony games. Both kind of have a much more limited draw by comparison.
Yeah. And E3 was a huge event, so like everybody would be I would just, watch E3. I'd watch most of the stuff because, why not? It's something to talk about. It's going to be part of the big discussion online. Everybody's going to be talking about it.
Yeah, there was a competitive element to it, like, oh, who did the best this year at E3 kind of thing. Like, even if you didn't especially care about one company, there was a good chance that you'd watch it if you watched something else because, you get a little spillover that way of interest. And this is just kind of shitty by comparison. No one cares. You get some news site gets the headlines, they get the trailers, they put them online, done. So, that's... Don't worry, in like 3 years, the companies will probably realize this and realize, hey, big events actually kind of are a little bit important for marketing purposes.
Yeah, and E3 was not just about showcasing games, but it was also about a lot of developers, indie developers especially, making connections with each other and making connections with people in the industry. It was. There was a lot of stuff that was happening going on behind closed doors as well at E3.
So much networking and shit. Like, that
win-win situation.
Yeah, that was partially how Giant Bomb positioned themselves back in the day. They had these big, they streamed the conferences and everything, obviously, but then they also had, industry talks and stuff with, big PR events of bringing in all these important developers and publishers and other journalists and everything to, have everyone talk and get a feel for how things are going in the industry. And through that, you get a bunch of different people who probably wouldn't have talked that much elsewise and got them all communicating between each other. And that was probably a net positive in terms of how the industry is going. And now everything is getting very, very isolated. And it's a little unnerving.
It's the end of the world as we knew it.
Speaking of video games,
That started out as a I know where this is going.
I beat the Zelda game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much
I
of
re-
it did you do? Like all of it?
Nowhere near all of it. No, I did all the shrines and I did all the dungeons and all the like side adventures. Side quests and side adventures. Adventures are like bigger things that have like multiple quests, like big quest chains and such. Did all that as far as I could find. There's probably more I haven't found. And I beat the final boss. And yeah, no, that's I'm going to have a really, really, really hard time ever loading up Breath of the Wild again.
Mm-hmm.
It just got blown out of the water so much. Also,
I have learned 3 things from osmosis about this game.
yeah.
1, story is kind of depressing.
It's a good story.
2,
Both of those things are true.
2, the community around the game seems to have turned it into some sort of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts sequel. A thing that I never expected to happen in any universe.
I've seen people make pod racers. I've seen people make full-on battle mechs, orbital lasers.
Yep.
We made a stealth bomber that worked.
Yep. People have made kill sats, they have made strafing bombers, they've made fucking actual mechs. Skateboard is the easiest one in the fucking universe, but people made skateboards.
You knew a skateboard without even just putting 2 things together. You can just fuse a cart to your
minecart to shield.
Yeah.
And then you can grind on rails.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking Sonic or something.
You can grind on rails without even fusing a cart to your shield, but having the cart like massively helps with the durability reduction.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, that's pretty cool.
I also learned. Yeah. Okay.
Everyone wants to make dicks.
People have made some dick-shaped weapons that of mass destruction.
Yep.
Which, yeah, no, that's valid. You can do that. That's a thing the game allows you to do.
Yep.
I learned how to repair weapons and stuff in the game too, which is cool. The rock Octoroks, which in Breath of the Wild would suck up like rusted weapons and like spit them out nice and clean. If you drop an item next to them, like once per blood moon per enemy, they will eat the item, spit it out fully repaired, and add a modifier to it, like attack up or durability up or whatever.
Wait, they didn't. In the first game, they would turn rusty weapons into regular weapons. So I did try that, and it didn't. So they just fixed them.
They bring items back to full durability and add a modifier to them now.
Huh. Well,
including fused weapons. The only like thing that they don't do that is for like unique weapons like the Fierce Deity sword or the Big Goron sword. But you can just fuse those weapons to other weapons as a base, and it will work the same way.
Because I have a few diamond Big Goron swords for Lionel hunting. So
yeah, you can unfuse those though. It costs like 20 rupees.
Yeah, it's pretty minor.
But yeah, no, there's a way to repair things, and I also learned how the fusing affects durability too, which is really cool. Whenever you fuse something, the first time you fuse a weapon to another thing, as a just first time bonus for creating that fusion, you get an extra 25 durability, so extra 25 hits before anything breaks.
Awesome.
Then you get an added amount depending on what material you use and the quality of that material. If it's a weapon, then that attached weapon has their durability added to yours. And a weapon fused to another weapon, the weapon that's infused with the lower durability will break first. If it's a material, though, it stays fused until it breaks altogether.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really good stuff, and make sure that like your stick that has a durability of 4 will always, like, if you fuse it, it will last for a long time, comparatively. Yeah, no. I've just been looking into the mechanics of the game, because I know a lot of like the durability thing was a huge discussion in Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
But I found
I've
that
gone on record. We know I ranted about it enough times.
I found that because monster materials are now used as one part in the weapon creation process, they Lobo put it good in the Discord earlier, of like they are like a currency almost, where you can just create your good fusion like with that good material, because the material is where most of your damage is coming from anyways.
Yeah.
The only
I've made a lot of trips to Terrytown, yanking parts off of my nearly broken weapons because the part is more valuable than it's not worth it to break it.
Mm-hmm. So you can just, or you can decide to cash in that material and just deal that extra damage. You're like, I got plenty of these. Why not? Deals 4 times damage if I throw it.
I haven't found a Royal Claymore that does the double damage when it's near breaking yet. But
That's
I
the
know,
Royal Guards Claymore.
yeah, some of them have a Flurry Rush power. I've only found those so far.
I'm pretty sure they're the specifically the black ones, the Royal Guard, not just the Royal.
Oh god, okay, I forgot about those ones. But yeah,
Yeah.
so the plan is to get one of those near breaking, slap whatever the highest power weapon I have on it, and that's my Lionel riding weapon because that doesn't take durability.
And that will just eviscerate things, yeah.
Yeah, just free hits with a weapon that's like 140 damage.
Yeah, no, I feel like everything in that game, from like a gameplay perspective, from a story perspective, from like side quest, world building, lore, puzzles, is just better than Breath of the Wild, to such a degree that I don't want to go back to Breath of the Wild. Where it's like, hey, use Cryonis here to move a ball along this thing. It's like, nah. Even the freaking like their equivalent to that there was a whole like combat trials of Breath of the Wild where it's fight one robot. Now fight one robot but stronger.
Yeah, now they have like essentially glorified tutorials.
The actual equivalent to that are things that are like recreations of Eventide Isle, which is, we're going to take all your items, all your armor, all your materials, the proving grounds, and you are going to have to use the stuff that's in this huge room to try to solve the problem of these enemies. And that's way more fun. Because, it's risky, and it's never just boring, because like usually the tools they give you are fun to play with. But yeah, no, I don't think anything's gonna top that as my game of the year. I know I'm obviously biased as the Zelda guy, but that's just a genuinely fantastic game for me. And laser targets a lot of things that I like in games. I like the sense of adventure. It's really hard to sell somebody on the sense of adventure, I guess, because it's something that I look for in games. It's why I like D&D, is that feeling of freedom of I can just approach things however I want. And now with frickin' the amount of freedom they give you in this game, it's insane. I don't know how they're going to top this.
I am currently experiencing precognition of the Game Awards in December, where Tears of the Kingdom and Final Fantasy XVI sweep everything, and Hi-Fi Rush is nominated for... Hi-Fi Rush becomes Horizon Forbidden West from last year.
I need to go. I still need to play Hi-Fi Rush. But I have heard really good things about it.
Sad.
But yeah, no. There is so much content in that game. It is overwhelming. In Tears of the Kingdom, it is. Oh,
I do hope Hi-Fi Rush does well, though. I mean, it's a fantastic game.
Apparently, they finished Tears of the Kingdom back in March of last year and just spent an entire year working on polishing the game and making sure the physics worked. And you can tell because the physics works. With the physics never bugs out. The only time I've seen somebody bug out the physics was when they purposefully tried to capture and move an NPC from their location and break the game.
Good to see that they learned from their mistakes with Scarlet and Violet.
Different companies.
Different companies.
I was afraid you'd say that.
But yeah, no, this is the type of game that can only exist because you had Breath of the Wild as a base. But now that I've been able to fly across the entire world map through various machines that I have crafted, trying to just go on a horse across Hyrule and Breath of the Wild seems just painfully lackluster to me now.
Yeah, the way to activate the fairies in this game is to take band members, the traveling troupe, I think that's their name.
Yeah.
And play music for the fairies so they're not scared anymore and they come out and then they can upgrade your gear. And you're supposed to fix up the cart for the troupe that they ride on because it's usually broken in some fashion. I just made a monster vehicle out of their cart and then I drive that instead of attaching my horse to a fixed cart.
Oh yeah, no, making a monster truck to transport them is ideal in some situations, and strap rockets to it as well.
Oh yeah, of course, always
extra measure.
Rockets always are great. I made a speedboat because I had to cross a river.
It seems as though they'll have to make Epona a Pegasus to keep up any further.
That's okay. I have amiibo cards, so I can scan them, and one of them gave me Epona. And you can't do anything with that horse. The stable master's like, hey, this is the horse of legend. I can't put anything on it. So you can't attach a hitch to it. You can't change its mane. You can't rename it. It's useless.
You can't upgrade it either.
Great.
Also, it's not a helicopter, so who cares?
Exactly. It's also not a helicopter.
It's not your freaking aerial bomber that you crafted by strapping cannons to your glider plane.
Hello, Epona, horse of legend that has carried the protagonist through like 80% of the games in the series. You're just not a Gundam, I'm afraid. Sorry, but I'm gonna go with something else.
Yeah, no, storytelling, fantastic. Makes Breath of the Wild feel extremely thin in comparison, which it is. The variety of your abilities means that every single shrine is a different puzzle that requires you to think differently rather than trying to, because the abilities are so vast and like actually work very well together. Because I mean, using Master Hand to lift, like Ultra Hand to lift something up, using Recall to then make it go back up, and then using Ascend to then jump through that thing that you raised up through rewinding time to get up through it and on top of it. Your abilities just work together fluidly.
They are exhausting though. Doing shrine after shrine after shrine will just mentally exhaust you.
That's why they
A
got
lot
all
of them
sorts
can be cheesed, but man,
Says the guy that just went and did all of the shrines as fast as he possibly could, though, in fairness.
yes, that's the one I have experience with this, so I can say that.
It requires you to think with your brain, so it's not something that you want to like. I'm going to do all of them right now. You don't want to shotgun them like that. You want to just do them as they come, and
Also,
have variety in your gameplay.
I want to roll something back. Wait, you said you got a horse, and the stable master was like, "No, I can't put anything on this horse because it's a legendary horse."
Yep.
Yeah, you won't change the saddle or the bridle to any of the custom cosmetic ones that you can unlock. Has to stick with those original stuff.
And they're not even cosmetic. Like I recently did a quest that gave me monster looking stuff for the horse that makes it like more camouflage for monsters. Can't wear it.
It's a horse.
Yep.
Is
It's
the
brown
saddle,
horse.
the bridle, all of that shit also legendary? Are they body parts?
Apparently. You cannot modify Epona at all. It's a brown horse with a basic saddle on it.
The same thing applies to the special Ganondorf horse and Zelda horse from Breath of the Wild if you carry them over.
In fairness, for the Ganondorf horse, it is entirely possible that they are in fact body parts.
For the Ganondorf horse, it is just too big to like horses that are gigantic. You cannot nothing fits them.
Yep, I'm just gonna resaddle this horse and yep, that puts that covers about 1/30 of this horse's back. I'm not sure how much comfort that's gonna give you.
I find it funny though. People attach the towing harness to their horse and then just attach the Korok to the harness, so it just gets dragged along the ground.
Yeah.
People are being rough to the Koroks.
I've seen them being burned and waterboarded. I've seen the Korok space program with multi-stage rockets.
That's an easy one. That's just a couple rockets.
Multi-stage, though.
Oh, great.
Yeah, no.
What they get. Fucking Koroks.
They're not that bad in this game, but the sins of their past does not leave them.
I still have to collect them. At this point, I need 18 seeds to get into the sword slot.
There's 1,000.
Give me my inventory, goddammit.
There's 1,000 Koroks in this game.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to see if there's a bigger golden poop.
Do you want me to confirm it for you?
Yeah, sure.
They added one more swirl to the golden poop.
Oh my god.
Great. Incredible.
That's it. That's all you get.
This represents your growth.
I don't know which is worse, if somebody data mined it or if somebody already got 1,000.
Somebody already got it.
Christ. That's probably before the guides came out for where they were. You just scoured the game for Korok.
Who comes up with this stuff?
But no, this game does not expect you to 100% it.
No.
It is too massive.
Most quests are unmarked. So
I'm sorry. They're confusing their player base for one that doesn't have people who have an obsessive need to complete the game 100%.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say patience.
The people who made the game expect you to do this. The game itself doesn't expect you to.
Yeah, no, it's like if they locked a super important or awesome cosmetic or thing behind getting all 1,000 Koroks, it would suck. Everyone would hate it. The fact that it's just a poop is just like, I can ignore that now. Yeah. I don't have to get all of them.
They are actively discouraging you from doing completionism.
I see.
They did the same thing in Wind Waker, I understand. Because what was it? Golden Skull Tullers or something?
Yeah.
Skulltullers. And
I don't
you
think those
get
were in
all of them and they
Wind
give you
Waker.
money or something?
Oh, I think that was Ocarina of Time, I think. And yeah, you get infinite rupees if you kill all 100 of them, but by the time
By
you've
that
got
point, you
all
don't need
100,
money anymore because you've already bought everything.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, that didn't work, so fuck it, you get poop.
Yeah. If you want like cool cosmetics, go explore the world. We had all of the DLC and amiibo items from the last game as just things you can find in the world without buying DLC or buying amiibo.
I am
Wasn't one of
actually
the
really
things
happy
from the
about that.
DLC a motorbike or something?
No, that the motorbike was like from like the story DLC, which at
Is
this
a
point
DLC item, yes.
Yes.
I mean, at this point, the things that you can craft way outclass it to an astonishing degree.
Yeah, that's kind of why I assumed that it would just be somewhere in the overworld and you'd just be able to find it.
If it is, I have not found it, and it was an ability of the Sheikah Slate. The Sheikah Slate is no longer a thing, so you don't have it.
Yeah, I hope it exists in the game or they put it in because I fucking hate the horse controls. And I finished the final boss in Breath of the Wild with the bike. That it was way easier.
Have you seen the air bike? That's just like two fans and the steering wheel.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that sounds incredible.
It is superior maneuverability, low energy cost, and is incredibly fun to use.
I'm going to be Googling something for 1 second.
It is incredibly cool the things people are coming up with. Like, not just I have invented this thing, but I have invented this thing. Okay, I've done some R&D. I figured out this works better while doing the same thing, only also doing other stuff because I've reconfigured it and found a better method. Like, the amount of creativity that the game allows people to have in creating things, building things, and doing things that most games would not let them do is kind of astonishing. Like, everybody listening to me right now on the podcast and just listening to the fucking VOD knows I am not a fan of Zelda. I respect the fuck out of this game.
It is wild the things you could make and they work. It's crazy. Also, it's just two fans and a control butt. That's super easy.
It's super easy. It's cheap to replicate.
Yep. The original design was that it was side by side and you're in the middle, and then the guy that made it was like, yeah, you can do that, but it doesn't steer particularly well. So if you do it front to back instead of side by side, then it will steer much easier, and you don't have to worry about the problem of it like forward thrust constantly.
Yeah, it is. Much. It is now my favorite way to get around, and made exploring the depths much easier and faster.
Yeah, the only light seeds in the depths I have left to get are the really hard to get ones. So that sounds great, actually.
But like
astonishing.
And you know, as you go through, like the game gives you schematics that you use to make designs that are like already pre-made. So if you're not particularly creative, you can just find those schematics and just work off of those.
It is incredibly helpful, but the only problem is those parts are spectral, so you can't like move them.
Yeah, because you're recreating them, unless you already have the parts and you take them out beforehand.
True. I guess if you took out the parts beforehand and used them without not paying for them.
But yeah, no, the air bike, it's super efficient.
Well, I know what I'm doing, Meg.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy a game that has so many different puzzles in it, and it just says, here's all these tools. You can use these tools to solve this puzzle in a variety of ways. Most people are not going to solve this puzzle the same way. But that's okay, because as long as you solve it, it counts.
And it's not even with parts. I did the fire temple last night, and I could not figure out how to get up to an area. So I just flew out of the temple and just glided in from over a nearby mountain, and it worked. There was no invisible wall there. There was no weird thing that stopped me. I just bypassed an entire puzzle because I had the glide armor.
If it works, it works. And it feels rewarding. It feels like you're cheating because you solved it in a way that wasn't probably intended, but that the intention is for you to feel that way.
So that was our Zelda Power Hour.
So that is a 40-minute rant on Marvel and a 40-minute rant. Well, not rant. Well, there was about a 20-minute talk about PlayStation and E3 and shit. So that was maybe a 20-minute talk about Zelda. That's fine. That's an improvement. Next week it'll be 10 minutes, and then we can stop talking about it.
There you go. That's how that works. Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just want to bring it up because I beat the game, and I am very satisfied with my experience.
Good.
And cannot go back to the previous one. I can't.
Okay.
Oh, one last thing. The Master Sword is great. You confuse things with the Master Sword, and it just gets like green runes on it. And then when you swing the sword, a spectral version of that weapon is attached to it, or whatever you slapped on it. It's pretty great. I had slapped a Royal Claymore on my Master Sword and I was farming grass with it to, get hightail lizards.
Plus, because
most efficient use of the weapon.
Because you get that bonus 25 durability every time you do a first fusion, and the Master Sword recharges.
Okay, we can move on, please. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Just wanted to praise that one last thing. All right, we're good.
We're good.
Whose week is it?
I don't know. I just brought up Zelda because I wanted to.
That's fair.
I have nothing else to
have anything
talk about much because I've been watching the Mega Man show.
Okay.
Which is the prequel to Konosuba, and Mega Man is the main character, and it's just a really wholesome, fantastic character-driven show.
I watched 2 episodes of that, I think yesterday actually, just to see what it was. The dub is really great.
I've not seen the dub.
It's quality. It's good stuff. They really sell the painfully cringe aspect of every character.
I love them. They're so cringe. And
they're all terrible, and I love them.
They've all killed the parts of themselves that cringes, except for Union.
I do appreciate that Union is just looking around, going, "Why am I the weird one?" It's great.
Anything else, Zero?
No, that's it for me.
Patient, how you going?
Well, conflicted, honestly. A few days back, I officially reached the end of the part of my life where I can say I'm in my 20s.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
My condolences.
Yes.
I've been there, I can say that.
Mm-hmm. Also been dealing with some problems with my ribs at work. Just too much sitting down throughout the day, not enough stretching, and needing a new pair of shoes, which I'm, going to take care of tomorrow. Just piling up and causing me a significant amount of pain throughout the day. I've been seeing a chiropractor about it, and by and large, it seems to be fixing. I just need to keep stretching and be better about my posture. Besides that, for my birthday, Zon got me Breath of the Wild, which I have not played yet. I'll be playing that at some point. And my brother got me Hades.
Ooh,
hey!
okay.
D's.
Sorry to hear me say it's hard to go back to that game. Enjoy your time with Breath of the Wild.
If it means anything, I disagree with Zero on that. I still think it's a fantastic game.
Oh no, I still think it's a great game. It's just a game that I don't think that I can personally go back to because I've experienced blasting myself attached to a rocket.
That's
in
fair.
the same world.
I do get that. I get it.
I also wound up beating Okami for the first time, and that was fun.
Oh, cool. I've bounced off that one a couple times, and it's not because of the game itself. I just get busy with other things.
Yeah, same.
It's incredibly satisfying just going through the areas and purifying everything, even if that's not an insignificant part of the game, but definitely not most of the game either. But it's extremely satisfying to me. And while the ending came a bit abruptly, in my opinion, it was enjoyable. I'm on New Game Plus now, trying to collect the last couple of trophies that I missed on the first time. Aside from that, we've just been... Well, I've just been focusing on trying to take care of myself and... not much else to remark on, really.
Sisa, did you have anything?
I
think you said you don't
just
have much.
Just on a similar note to Patient, I noticed that I'm eating pizza 3 times a week.
Oh,
So I've made a promise to myself to stop ordering out food and stop buying frozen pizzas. So I'm going to try to eat healthier.
Good plan.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, it could be worse, Slicer. You could be regularly eating a large platter of nachos on a bed of salt and vinegar chips.
True. I think that's about the same level of healthiness as a large pizza every night.
Probably what that is just carbs on top of that's just chips on top of chips, to use the American parlance.
It is
with salt
and vinegar
and plastic cheese.
Mm.
Gotta love that Velveeta. Ugh. So yeah, that's really all that's happening with me. I've been playing a lot of Tears. Watched a couple anime here and there. Work has been garbage. Same as usual.
I got very little. I have very little that I am especially comfortable talking with. My stepdad had some very severe health problems, but so if people have been wondering why I've been saying things like, hey, stuff happened, I'm not especially comfortable talking about it, that's what I was talking about. He was in the hospital for a while. He has since come home, which is very good and reassuring. Things were stressful for everyone for a while.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Glad it's behind you.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
Glad it's getting better then?
Getting better is a good way of putting it. Thank you. Yeah, so that was a thing that was going on. Made doing important things a little more difficult. Hard to concentrate on things like that.
It
Definitely
makes
not doing the
sense.
healthier
It's
eating thing that Slice was talking
thing.
about.
I mean, I would immediately fall back into bad eating habits if my life took a stressful turn like that as well. So Don't
Oh
hold
no,
that against
this
yourself.
this is entirely unrelated. I just don't eat healthily because I don't care.
Oh, that's fair.
I mean, let's be perfectly honest. I start my day with an energy drink every day, like one of the healthier ones, granted, but still, I'm probably gonna croak in my 50s.
I mean, I do that too. That's my morning coffee. Just have a can of Rockstar.
Rockstar wouldn't be my recommendation, but sure. Yeah. So. That's pretty much all I got, though. I don't.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just doing usual writing
So
things.
thank you all for listening to the Fandom Flux podcast, or rather listening to us
Patient
rant
is
and read.
really eager to leave for some reason. What? Are we boring you going on for 90 fucking minutes? Jesus. As I was saying, played a bunch more Rogue Legacy 2. That game is still kind of fun, I guess. That's about it, though. Yeah. So thanks for listening to us legit just ramble for a long time.
That was fun.
It was quite nice.
That's what podcasts are, Casey. It's rambling.
Yeah, but usually it's like an hour, and sometimes we struggle for that. But this fucking stupid Zelda game, god damn it!
The Zelda game was 20 minutes. The thing that took up the most time was the Marvel talk.
True.
In fairness, that's going away too, so we're gonna really struggle soon.
Yeah, there was Zelda, which came out recently-ish, as well as the game show, which also has historically taken up a large amount of time. So there were several things.
Fuck, you know what's gonna happen?
What?
Anime's gonna take over even more. Japan don't have a writer's strike.
Probably should.
I mean, they probably should, but it's the Writers Guild of America, not Japan. Their
Yeah.
productions are all going ahead, so...
Watch Oshinoko.
Okay, so... Bye everybody.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Until next time.
Link to Patreon inscription, Discord inscription if you feel like it. Some reason. I can't imagine why at this point.
Because we're great. That's why.
Yeah, we have sparkling personalities and charisma.
Or at least some of us do.
Yup. We got those. Some of them. of the collective some of us, we have those somewhere.
Bye,
Maybe.
everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.